Mother Knows Death, starring Nicole and Jemmy and Maria QK.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mother Knows Death. On today's episode, we're going to talk about what celebrities do with their afterbirth. Last week on Mother Knows Death, we talked about how the body positivity movement is essentially gone now because of drugs like Ozempic, and now Lizzo is coming out and saying that plus-size people are being erased. We'll also get into an unexpected object that fell from the sky and went through somebody's windshield, a person that took their own life in a shopping center in front of people in a very gruesome way, and a new AI app which is designed so you could still have relationships with dead family members. That one is like so disturbing. All that and more on today's episode.
All right, let's start off with Cardi B. So she recently had her fourth child, and as a way to honor the birth, she got her umbilical cord turned into gold jewelry.
So I guess they dehydrated it and dipped it in a gold chrome solution. I don't know. It's kind of boring to me. Like, I saw it. I just was like,
well, it only cost $50. I mean, what do you want? It's not like it's this great piece of jewelry. It's just a little thing. I don't even think jewelry is the right word. It's like a memento.
It just doesn't look good. It looks like an umbilical cord dipped in gold dust. Like, that's what it just, I don't know. Like, it doesn't.
Well, what do you advise? Everybody keep their placentas in jars like you in their house so everybody can stare at them and feel uncomfortable?
I wish Cardi B would have contacted me because I could have advised her to do something much cooler with it.
I mean, I just see this uptick in, jewelry or art that could be made from things like this. I don't know if I think you sent this to me, but I've seen it before too. Like, you could even take your extra embryos from IVF and turn them into jewelry and stuff, which, as a person that just went through IVF, I think that's a little excessive, but...
No, you want me to tell you the one that I just saw?
What?
Like, you won't even believe this. 2 people, like, sent their semen specimen, or, like, samples and pubic hair and were making, like, a joint ring.
For what purpose?
I don't know. To just, like... I don't know.
Like... I don't know how I feel. Like, I don't know how I feel about this because, like, I wouldn't do this, but a lot of people are very, well, I guess I do know how I feel about it because I wouldn't do this with the umbilical cord, right? When it comes to things like funeral jewelry, when you think about people getting cremains or a lock of somebody's hair turned into jewelry, I think that's cool. It's an old Victorian tradition.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know, but I told you when we were at that antique store in Philly, how it's so sad when you see those things for sale because you're like, oh, your family members just stopped giving a shit about you throughout the generations.
They're like three generations. Like, nobody cares.
It's just sad. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about the umbilical cord jewelry. I agree with you. I don't think this looks that great, but it's also not that expensive. So I'm sure somebody with her level of wealth could have gotten something better made, perhaps. But I don't know. This girl seems to have a flourishing business that does it, so...
Yeah, I mean, it goes viral, and there's lots of different things. We've talked about this before of people eating their placenta, which I just think is just so nasty. I just saw this video. I don't know if it was like National Geographic or something, but it was showing these gorillas giving birth, and then the mom was like eating a placenta, which is bigger than a human one. Even it just looks like a giant raw piece of steak, and it's so bloody. And I think that any person that's a PA that has dissected thousands of placentas is just totally turned off by the idea of ever eating it.
Or the daughter of a PA who was forced to intern at the hospital at 15 years old, and you said, look at this one, it looks like a jellyfish, and now I'm scarred for life.
It does a little bit, but...
So are you going to keep my placenta?
Yeah, I will if you take it home. Sure, why not?
Well, how do you go about that? Do I tell them, I want to keep it?
Yeah, you usually just have to get it signed out. It just depends on the hospital and what their rules are, but you could just say that you're taking it for religious purposes and they have to give it to you. The only thing is that usually they might send it to pathology if there's any kind of issue, but if it's just like a normal vaginal childbirth or even a C-section, they'll give it to you if there's nothing that they need to examine on it.
I don't want it, I don't even want to touch it though, so you can come get the bucket that it comes. I have no interest at all.
Why? I had mine because I couldn't touch mine for because I was in the hospital, especially after I had Lillian for a while, and it was just sitting in the fridge for a while. It's just not. I don't know. I just don't think it's that gross. But
I'm
I
not
mean, it's
interested
your
in
organ.
anything
You
that
made
comes
it.
out
You
of the
should keep
body.
it.
You can keep it at your house, and I'll see it when
Okay.
I'm over there. I don't know, but this company also does offer. You could send the placenta to them, and they'll turn it into pills for you. So I guess they
Yeah,
do a
and
couple different
that
things.
was $500. It said.
Yeah, that was $500. This gold thing was $50, and then I guess Cardi B also got a print made. They do prints or something. I was trying to find a video of the
Dumbest
process.
industry. You know how you get a print? Take the thing home and paint it and stick it on a piece of paper. There, I just saved you hundreds of dollars. Like, what? What? Okay, I don't understand it. Okay.
All right. Over the weekend, Lizzo posted an essay on Substack expressing concern that she thinks plus size people are being erased and she's worried about the Ozempic boom, even though she's taking part in said.
I'm actually
Ozempic
getting
boom.
annoyed by this shit at this point because I've been thinking a lot about this over the past couple days because we talked about it on last episode too. And just think about all of, especially it was a terrible time in the 2020 when the pandemic was happening and so many people were at home, and all of these people, especially people like Lizzo and just a lot of celebrities, started this trend of the healthy at any size body positivity. Totally, I feel like they were pushing obesity. Actually, Cosmopolitan, never forget that picture they put on the front cover that was healthy at any size. It just was, that whole entire thing was out of control, right? So now I know people are ultimately responsible for whatever choice they make, like people who are listening to celebrities, but they do have influence over people because people think they're cool and glamorous and they want to listen to them. So you have this whole entire population of especially young women who were just during the pandemic and everything, oh, F it, I'm just going to sit here and just eat all day and be fat and walk around with my gut hanging out and all this stuff. And now those people are getting left in the dust by all of these celebrities who are oh, I could take Ozempic and lose a bunch of weight. And then, once you start losing weight and stuff, they have money to get trainers and they have money to get surgery to cut off the skin and they have money for the chefs and the better food and all this stuff. Well, what about all the people you just convinced that it was okay to be, huge at any size, and now they're pushing 300 pounds because you told them it was okay, and now you're no, it's not okay anymore.
Well, I think this is so ridiculous because she's saying she was partly motivated to lose weight because she was, quote, sick and tired of her identity being overshadowed by her weight. But don't you think that's why everybody else in Hollywood is taking these drugs too?
The only reason that anybody cared about her weight is because she was going on stage at 300 pounds in a leotard. She's the one that made it about her weight. If she was just wearing a normal outfit, nobody would have cared. It's because she was wearing lingerie leotards on stage and everybody was what is happening right now? That's why people were making such a big deal out of it. And Hollywood wants to act like they're so evolved and this, that, and the other. This is absolutely no different than, all these videos they show from the year 2000 when Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. Oh my God, imagine people were saying these girls were fat back then. And it's yeah. And now look at them. They're all taking these drugs and super, super skinny. And they're still continuing to put out a terrible message for people.
Both sides of it are bad. I mean, these people that need to lose 5 pounds or don't need to lose, they want to lose 5 pounds going on these drugs and then becoming anorexic are also not helping either.
If you look at pictures of right before Wicked happened with those two people, what's her name? Cynthia, whatever.
Ariana Grande and Cynthia
they're both the most annoying people that ever existed. When you look at their bodies now, they that to me is I don't know that that's necessarily something that you should be oh, this is what girls should look up to. They look like skeletons,
but
both of them.
I think there are people out there that need this drug that have had issues losing the weight to become healthy to kickstart it, right? And I would consider Lizzo to be in that category.
She is.
But you're saying you're worried about plus size people being erased and the Ozempic boom when you're partaking in it. So I just think it's hypocritical to say.
Well, it's just also another thing, another bad message. So first they were telling you could be healthy at any size, which I've been saying from the beginning is total bullshit. And now they're saying like, "Oh, well you could just go on this drug and lose all this weight." And it's just like that drug is not benign even a little bit. And a lot of people have short-term and long-term effects from it. So it definitely is good for people like because I've been saying forever that you're not healthy at any size. If you take it to lose weight, it's the benefits of the drug outweigh the risk of being morbidly obese for years of your life. So that's why I think it's okay. But you're telling now a whole entire population and group of people, it's going viral across the world that you're going on this drug to lose weight and it works for a lot of people. But how many people are getting off of this drug and they're taking it, losing the weight and getting off of it, and that's the end? Like it's there's studies done on that's not happening. And
No, and so
you're
many
telling people to go on a drug for the rest of their life. It's kind of irresponsible, just in a different opposite direction.
Yeah, so many experts are interviewed and say that anybody that goes on it has to be on some form of it the rest of their life to keep up with it. And I don't think people know that going into it. I think there's a serious undereducation with it, and it's concerning because I mean, I feel like in the people I know that are on it, some people are just like going to the doctor saying they want it and they just get it. Like there's there's no studies to make sure they're healthy enough to be on it or might not have other complications from it. It's just like it's reminding me of Oxycontin all over again. You could just go and ask for it and you get it.
It just worries me because I think there's times that you can't take it in your life. Like let's say you took it for the past couple years and you were really thin and now you're pregnant, right? Like now what? You're going to like how much weight are you going to gain during your pregnancy when you've been used to being on a drug that tells you that you're not hungry all day? And then you're going to be I don't know if you could take it while you're breastfeeding.
You
like
can't take it while you're breastfeeding.
Okay,
I mean,
so like that's going to be huge for all of these women that are of childbearing age because right there, I mean, just an average person usually gains a ton of weight and has to work hard to lose it. And when you're used to having that drug that you can't take anymore, you can't take it before surgery. You have to stop taking it like weeks ahead of time for surgery and things like that. So it's just like, and like I said, like it's fine for some people that really need it, but like you can't just be telling everybody to go on that right now. And that's sending just as bad of a message as telling everybody that they're totally fine being 300 pounds.
no, and I mean, I follow like certain influencers and other people online, and I just see stuff pop up on Instagram where people that just had babies are talking about cutting breastfeeding short because they can't wait to go back on it. And it's like, you could stop breastfeeding whenever you choose, whatever. We've had many conversations about this, young, old, whatever. But I think if you're only stopping it to go back on this drug, like what if you're going to have more kids later? You're just going to keep going on and off of it for years and years and years? I just don't think it's healthy to be treating any medication like that either.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I mean, it's just not. It's not evolving in any better way. It's the same thing as like a lot of to me. It's almost. I understand that the drug works for a lot of people, but it's an unrealistic beauty standard because it's something that you have to do for the rest of your life, and I don't want to be beholden to any drug like that for the rest of my life, because there's plenty of studies that show that it breaks like I don't know the exact mechanism of it, but it the way that your body normally metabolizes food, it breaks that. So once you go off of it, you're not even going to go back to your baseline where you were before. Like you can't function without it. And it's just that's kind of a lifelong commitment of going on something like that. And then there's other side effects that happen with people with the constipation and the this and the that. And like there's plenty of people that take it that are totally fine and they'll be fine forever, but like it's just a lot to say, okay, you have to take this for the rest of your life.
It's a grand commitment that I just don't think a lot of people are aware of when they're starting it. And I mean, it's adding into confusion too that there's a lot of doctors online totally negating everything like you're saying or what other experts are saying about it being dangerous and saying it's perfectly safe. I mean, you could find doctors that also say CTE doesn't exist, right? Like there's always going to be two
Well,
groups of people.
and just in general, in life in general, as a person that's almost 50 years old, like there's no such thing as a quick fix. There's just not. There's always going to be, you know, like look at Kim Kardashian trying to do a quick fix for going to law school. Like she would have been better off just going to law school. There's no quick way to get around things. Like if you want to do things legit, the best chance you have is to do it the right way in order to change your lifestyle and not have to depend on something like that.
All right, last week a woman was driving along US 74 in North Carolina when suddenly a bald eagle carrying a cat flew over the car and dropped the cat through her windshield.
That shit is crazy. You know what's funny? Like I let my cat outside sometimes on our roof because she likes to like go out the window and just sit on the roof. And Kara always would say to me, "What if a bird of prey comes by?" And I used to make fun of her and laugh and be like, "A bird of prey?" And she's like, "Seriously, like an eagle could come by and grab her."
I mean, I guess
Now I might believe her.
I only ever think of these birds like birds of prey, I guess, as carrying fish and dropping fish. They'll scoop them out of the water and then drop them in a really random place. But I've never really thought about them. Of course, they have the ability to pick up other things. I just never thought about it picking up a cat. And then
That's
so
so
was this
random, right? Like,
but I'm thinking about Kitty being in the backyard because domestic cats aren't often just roaming around, but your cat does. So what if she was just outside and an eagle scooped her up?
maybe it was her now.
Definitely wasn't her, but this is gonna upset everybody, so trigger warning, the cat died. Sorry.
That's it's really it's just like such a freak thing. I just can't imagine being that person that I mean think about you're just there and your windshield shatters like that. That's just scary as hell. And so they did one of our local radio stations did an hour yesterday about people hitting deer, which listen, like I've been driving around the past couple days and I've seen so many dead deer on the side of the road. So people are hitting them all the time.
Yeah.
At least around here. And all of these people were calling with their experiences and they were terrifying, like saying that the deer got in the car and was still alive when they were still driving. Like, could you freaking imagine something like that happening?
Dude, the deer around here are so huge too. Like the one, I feel like it was last year we were going up to New York and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning or something. I was leaving to come to your house and there was a deer in my neighbor's front yard. And I was like, am I on drugs right now? This thing is enormous. They're huge around
It's like
here.
the coyote I saw in Louis' yard last week.
The ghost of Remy.
I really saw it. I know you guys don't believe me, but I told you the reason I noticed it is because I'm really allergic to dogs, and I showed up at my parents' house and was like, I see this because what's Louis' dog, like a husky kind of thing? Like it looks like a coyote
idea.
a little bit. And I pull up to my parents' house and I'm like, the only reason I noticed the dog in the yard because I thought, oh wow, for once my parents actually didn't want me to have an asthma attack when I show up and put the dog out in the yard. That's the only thing that. And then when I got in the house, the dog was in there, and I was like, oh, I guess that was a coyote,
Or the ghost.
or I was hallucinating. Either or.
This episode is brought to you by The Gross Room.
Guys, so as Maria said in the last episode, she did the high-profile dissection this week on IVF, where she announced to the world that she was pregnant, and that's something Gross Room members got to hear first, so that was cool. They even heard last week, too, during our live, but we also do a live every week where we cover stories that we don't discuss on the Mother Knows Death podcast because, I mean, today I feel like there was 15 extra stories that I wanted to talk about that we just couldn't squeeze in. There's just so much stuff.
Always.
And it's just becoming more and more every week for some reason. Like they knew that we're doing this podcast or something. I don't know. So check that out. And also Grocery members for our merch website, they get a special page just for them for special exclusive merch just for grocery members, but it's for all of our different stuff too. So check that out.
Head over to thegroceryroom.com now to sign up.
All right, let's talk about this public suicide. How gruesome was this?
This is terrible. In France, a woman went into a home improvement store, bought an electric chainsaw, went outside, and then cut her throat in front of everyone in the parking lot.
So again, believe it or not, this has happened before. I did a post in the grocery room a couple years ago called Self-Inflicted Chainsaw Massacre. And this is a 65-year-old guy who also cut himself with a chainsaw to kill himself, like cut it through his neck. And in this particular post in the grocery room, you could see what it looks like. I mean, in general, you could just search chainsaw to see what it would look like. Because it doesn't leave, because it's a chain that's moving. It doesn't leave something you would see if you cut someone with a knife, like a sharp injury. It more grabs and tears the skin and leaves like lacerations and pulls it and leaves a shattered look. Like sometimes you could see the teeth marks kind of from it. And this guy severed his carotid artery, which is what killed him. But I mean, it just seems so drastic to do something like that in public. Like, what would cause somebody to do that in front of people?
I don't know, because I understand, like, anybody that gets to the point where they want to take their own life is clearly going through some form of a struggle, right? But I feel like it's an extra level to do it so publicly in front of people. I don't know. I can't understand wanting to do it in this type of way.
Yeah, it's an interesting theory because you have to think about every person that's going to see that is going to be upset by that. You know,
Well,
like,
yeah.
so
I just don't understand.
I mean, like, not just upset, but like, I mean, there's been situations where sometimes you see somebody get hurt or somebody, you know, the ambulance gets called in front of you, and it's just kind of like disturbing to see something like that happen. And just imagine seeing that, like, it would just bother you for such a long time, you know?
You'd be traumatized if you saw something like that. If you even know a person that's died around you, it's disturbing, right? Like you're driving on the highway and there's a bad accident and you know somebody's died in that accident. It's terrible. But to see somebody do this is horrific.
Yeah, I just can't even imagine.
All right. Former Disney Channel star Colin Worthy is facing backlash after creating an app that will allow people to talk to an avatar representing their dead relative.
So you guys have to see, and we'll put the link to this in the grocery room or the video that's been going viral. It's so disturbing. It's a woman who's pregnant, who's like rubbing her belly and talking to her dead mother, and then talking to her dead mother to like help read her son a nighttime story and all this. And it's like an actual video of her mom. This is what like Kanye did for Kim Kardashian, remember? Like,
Yeah, I just see so many problems with this, mostly being that if this is readily accessible to people, they're not going to be able to grieve in a way that they can move on with their life. And not that you should forget somebody who's died, and not that you don't have the right to grieve as long as you want. But there needs to be a point where, like, you have to accept that it has occurred and keep going with your life. And I feel like I read this really controversial book about therapy this year. A lot of people really don't like it. And it's because the author was saying that a lot of therapists take advantage of patients by having them retell these traumatic stories and making them relive it over and over and over again, to the point where the patient never gets resilience over what happened to them, and
Yeah.
they're not able to move on. And that's exactly what I see could happen in this situation.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, that part of it bothers me too, but what really bothers me is that, like, when I die, I don't want you making videos of me saying things that I didn't say.
Well, that's another problem too.
And
Is
like,
the dead person consenting to their likeness being used forever?
yeah, I mean, I know it's just because it's just like a really bizarre thing. Like, when I'm dead, I'm dead. I don't want it. I don't want that. And that would only be for your personal use. But think about when like movie stars die and stuff like that. Like it's just like, why are we doing this? Why?
It just
I just don't understand it. And it's not it's not going to end well. And you may be tricking yourself into thinking that your mom is there to help raise your kid or whatever, but like they're not. And it's the same thing as people dating these boyfriend chatbots. It's not real. Like, stop trying to tell people that something's there that's not there.
yeah, I think it's setting people up for disaster because you're reliving it and then you're getting off the app and then remembering that person is not alive. So I think there's a way to handle these things and relive memories you have with people that have died, but I don't think this is right, and it can be used for bad, obviously, and then I just don't think it's going to help people with grieving. I
Like,
think it's just going to make it worse.
humans are so in tune to like slight differences with things. And like, when you watch the video, I don't know that lady's mom, so I'm like, I don't know if she's really like that or that's how she would talk. But like, don't you think most people would just be like, it's like, I mean, it looks like my mom and it sounds like her voice a little bit, but it's just off. And like, it's just not. I mean, I guess the technology could get better to a point where you wouldn't be able to recognize it, but like your own mother or your own spouse or your own kids or whatever, like you would know, your brain wouldn't be tricked into thinking it was them. So it just would be like, I feel like it would almost be more upsetting to see it. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's just going to make the grieving process worse because you're just reliving the trauma of that person being dead over and over and over again.
So so like the reception online, like people aren't having it. Are people like excited about it, or it's generally like people are like, no, this is too much?
No, generally people seem really pissed about it. I mean, people are calling it evil and demonic, which I think is like, okay, like it sucks, but chill out. And then people are pointing out that it's profiting off of grief. But in 2022, Amazon released a similar feature where I guess you couldn't interact with the person, like you couldn't see them, but you could train their voice so you could hear their voice back. And it also was met with a lot of criticism. So I don't see why this guy then thought this was a great idea after Amazon got so much backlash for it a couple of years ago.
I just like, when I'm dead, I just want to be dead. Like, it's, and I think that's why people are calling it evil, especially religious people, because you're kind of going against nature.
Well, religious people say IVF is evil too, so let's not take their word for everything. But sorry, my body sucks, but like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I think this is a bad idea. And I'd be interested. I mean, I want to know what you guys think. Like, do you think it's a bad idea? Would you like to do something like this? I am curious to see what the listeners have to say. Because we're very like we're a little more sterile when it comes to death. So some people that are a little more emotional give your insight.
But this is what, didn't Kanye do this with Kim Kardashian's dad?
Yeah,
like,
in a way,
made that hologram of, it's the same kind of thing. Like, made a video of the dad talking to her.
And I feel like at the time, I don't really remember because it was years ago when I watched it. I feel like at the time she was saying it was this great, awesome thing. But I feel like everybody was like, what they were saying wasn't what their face was saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was more disturbing than not.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're dealing with a crazy person with him, so are you going to go on TV and say it was a terrible idea?
And I guess it's just different than, like, obviously, because let's say, for example, like, maybe there's not much pictures of my mom's like grandparents from when they were kids, and like every generation has more and more pictures from and videos and stuff from when they're kids. There's not even really that much videos that exist from when I was a kid. Like Aunt Terry might have one or something, but like I don't have one. So it's like looking back on videos of like your grandmom and this and that, but it's like that was like, while the moment in time that was captured. It's not like a future video. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit different. Like now with the kids, for example, like I don't think I have any videos of my grandmom, so I can't show my kids and like let them watch it and hear how she talked and stuff like that. So it's just weird to think that that's something that you could train an AI thing to do in the future. I don't know. I just don't like it.
But that's the difference. It's not a memory that you're reliving.
Yeah, I know. And I don't know how it feels because I never really experienced it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I would feel about that.
All right, guys, you can get our new merch on the DoraModderShop.com, and there's a discount code in the description of this episode for you guys that will be active until January 2nd, I believe. So happy holiday shopping. Please head over to Apple or Spotify and leave us a review, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you have stories or comments for us, please submit them to stories@motherknowsdeath.com.
See you guys. Thank you for listening to Mother Knows Death. As a reminder, my training is as a pathologist assistant. I have a master's level education and specialize in anatomy and pathology education. I am not a doctor and I have not diagnosed or treated anyone, dead or alive, without the assistance of a licensed medical doctor. This show, my website, and social media accounts are designed to educate and inform people based on my experience working in pathology so they can make healthier decisions regarding their life and well-being. Always remember that science is changing every day and the opinions expressed in this episode are based on my knowledge of those subjects at the time of publication. If you are having a medical problem, have a medical question, or are having a medical emergency, please contact your physician or visit an urgent care center, emergency room, or hospital. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Mother Knows Death on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get podcasts. Thanks.